So action is the best way to find our happiness. So what does that mean? To me, that means that only what I found is through action, and that's making decisions and acting. That's how you're going to be able to find the way to the things that you want. So we have a positive mindset, and we believe and we see and we internalize positively the things that we want to come to us in our lives. Yet maybe we're saying, well, we don't, where's it at? Like, I'm doing everything positive, but I'm not seeing the path. And there is a path. And that's where it comes in with the action. So, and again, this is speaking from my own experiences, is you don't know where, and I never knew where the path was going to be. But what I found is generally it would come from me doing something that felt a little bit uncomfortable. So let me use this as an example. When I moved, I moved from Indiana to Texas. I went from, being like a machine operator, and at the time I was going to school, so I was finishing up my degree, and I had a job in Texas that it was for a contract for, running machines that was about to come up, and it was for a company, a general contracting company, and at the time, I had no idea what they did, right? I just knew that I was there running machines and, making more or less the same amount as I was making in Indiana. And for whatever reason, I reached out to the company and said, hey, this and that, I'm finishing up my degree. Do you have anything for me? And that was, I can pinpoint that as the single, and this is this was 7 years ago. And that was way before I got into this understanding of the positivity. But I am able to look back then and see that was that pivotal moment that opened the door. Now, I don't know how many doors were possible before that, but it was that single moment back then that opened the door that really began, to where I've been able, and what I've been able to achieve up to this point. And that was all not based on, these natural laws that I understand. That was just based on, I've always tried to be a good person. I haven't always done the right things. I tended to be a very selfish person, but never harbored hate, never really wished bad upon people. So I would say I've always lived a decent life, let's say. So I think that unconsciously, I was kind of just doing what I needed to do to continue to increase my life and for people around me, but not to the point where I really, thought I wanted it to be. And I guess coming back to the point is it was through that single action that opened up that door that basically from back in 2017, my whole life is everything after that. I had a life before. So think of like a bottleneck. Like I had a life before that, and then that moment happened and my life completely changed after that. And the point is that we don't know what that is gonna be. And until we break out of our normal, like the way that we feel that's right, and what's comfortable. If it's comfortable, I can almost guarantee you it's not going to lead to anything better than what you already have. Is that comfort level, and some people that's going to be perfectly fine. Some people that's all they want is just be comfortable. And good, I'm glad, because that means that if that's all you want, then you have found your happiness. And that's what we all want, is we all just want to find our happiness. And and in order to find it, it's if you're not happy with where you are, then I can guarantee you need to do something that's going to make you uncomfortable, that's going to open up that door to the future things. And I just cannot stress that enough. It's just, talk to that person or do this, or, there's so many different things that you could do. But just know that it's going to be slightly uncomfortable. And the reason that it's uncomfortable is because, probably most of the time is because of a false belief that we have in our own minds about, rejection, or, what are they going to think of me? They're going to think I'm stupid, or I'm not qualified for that. Or, from a self-confidence point, to think, well, no, I could never do that. Well, see, all of those things are going to be the reasons that are going to stop you from doing whatever, because it's going to make you a little uncomfortable. But you just got to do it. And then once you do it and it opens up and it's like, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. I'm sure that we all, and that you have something in your life that you thought was going to be bad, right? You're like, you played it out over and over in your mind, leading up to it. Oh, I got to do this, but this is, all the negative thoughts that you played out in your mind. And while, the majority of the time, whatever it is that you play out in your mind is what's going to happen, there are some times where it doesn't happen that way and it surprises us. But the fact of the matter is that if you thought differently about the situation, instead of thinking negative outcomes, let's think positive outcomes. Even if it makes you a little uncomfortable and it's hard to think of the positive outcomes, just try to think of the positive outcomes of everything in life, and then just do it. It's the action. That's the single thing that's required within this. You have to, the positivity, everything is of equal importance in this whole process of, the positivity and getting more out of our lives. But the action, that's, that's I guess we would say in the physical sense, like in the world that we live in, that's very, it's something that we can see. It's something that we can do. We need to talk to them. We need to send an email, whatever it is. That's what needs to happen. And without that, we can be positive and do all these things, but, and just never really see anything from it if we continue to not try to get, out of our comfort zone. So, with that, it's very important to understand that premise and to know that, everybody kind of goes through the same things, and that's a big thing, is everything that you experience in life, that I've experienced in life, there are countless numbers of other people that have went through the exact same things, have felt the exact same way. And I really believe that if I'm able, of anybody like that I know, and I'm just a dude, right? Like I'm just a normal guy. And if I'm able to understand this, and if I'm able to develop a faith, then I really believe that you can. I believe that anybody can. And it's just through the remembering of the things that we want and that we want to do, and the remembering that we're positive people, and that's where we come from. We come from creation, which there is no negativity in the creation. So, in order to continue the creation, we need to limit the negativity, and it's just a constant reminder of that, and moving, and knowing that the things that we have in our minds that were given to us from other people, the negative beliefs. One thing that I wanted to talk about on negative beliefs is if you sit there and you start feeling a certain way, and if you're able to do it yourself, I want you to think about, whatever it is that the negative is bringing into you. And you can do this at any time. Whatever it is, just think about that negative thing and then ask yourself, is this how I really feel? Like, is this me? Deep down inside, do I believe that's the truth? And if you do, then it is what it is. But if there's anything inside of you, and you really need to listen to yourself, really listen and feel, and be conscious of your feelings. But if there's even the slightest thing in you that says, well, I've always kind of wondered, or no, this isn't exactly like really what I think would be best, then that means that somebody else put that in you, and you really need to start, uncovering those roots. Uncover the roots to see more about it and discover more to see, no, that's not mine, and then pull it out, get rid of it. Because the other thing that we go through life doing is we try to treat, the symptoms, or not the symptoms, we try to treat like the things that we see, like, let's say you have a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it. Well, the fact of the matter is you get cuts every day, and it's because you have a thorn bush out front is putting a Band-Aid on it every day going to stop it? No, you're just treating the physical sense of things. When in reality, what you need to do is you need to cut the bush down. You need to get rid of the bush, and then you're not going to have the cut on your hand. And it is the same thing on the internal of the things of our lives that may not be going the best, or the things that we want to change. We say, oh, well, I'm not happy with this person, so I'm going to change from that person to this person, thinking that it's going to get better, or any type of idea like that. In the physical sense, we're treating the physical sense of things instead of looking back into us and saying no, because you have to change from the inside if you want the changes on the outside. And again, that's not an easy thing, because that you have to put the light back on yourself to say, hey, maybe there's something that I'm doing that's causing this. And that can be a pretty hard thing for some people to take any type of responsibility in those, especially those deep things that are very emotional to us. Anything that we emotionalize on a deep level, the more we emotionalize it, the harder it's going to be to unemotionalize and get past those things. But the key is to always remember that there is not such thing as a hopeless case. You are not a hopeless case. Nobody in this world is hopeless. We are all made of the same things. If one man can do it, if one man can overcome the same types of problems that you've overcame, then you can too. That's the way of the universe. That's just the way that it works. Think of back with the Wright brothers on flight. Before they got airborne, it was just a wide understanding that only birds can fly, right? I mean, that's just the way of the world. That's the way that it works. Until they did it, and then after that, everybody realized it was possible, so everybody, learned how to fly, and then they evolved. But as long as somebody, I guess the point of that is, as long as, if somebody in the world has done it. Now, let me take this back, because I believe that if we can picture it in our mind, then we can do it in the physical world. I truly believe that. But if somebody else has done it before, then that's proof positive 100% without any doubt that any of us can do it, that you can do it. And I truly do believe that. And I believe by studying the things that people have done, then, that'll help you understand, or help me understand, the different steps that are possible to take to get to, whatever it is that we're trying to head towards. So whether it be, reaching out to somebody that has been through a similar circumstance, or trying to do the same things that you've done, that is invaluable, because they have already done it. Therefore, they're able to help explain things and really give you genuine answers to your questions. But it's, it all comes back to really just acting upon the things that are presented in your life, because you never know. You really don't. And I laugh because it's like I'm seeing it almost on a daily basis now. It's like everywhere I turn, since I have adopted this positive mindset and this positive philosophy, that I understand that I don't know what's behind any of the doors, so I am excited to do things that would once make me uncomfortable. So now I'm starting to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So that takes it to the next step, which I'm just starting to make the realization that I need to take it a step further to find something else that makes me uncomfortable. And now that I'm really thinking about it, doing these videos was something that I put off for a while because I felt uncomfortable. So it's almost like I'm just now making this realization that, talking with the people externally was one thing, and that was a comfort level that I initially didn't have, but now I do. And now I'm confronting this comfort level of talking to you. So I'm, it's proof positive just within myself that, that's as long as you continue to do things that make you a little uncomfortable, and you're able to work towards those, no matter how long it takes, just know that you're working towards it and that you're going to do it, and do not accept any temporary setbacks as defeat. And, just do everything that you can every day, the best that you can, with a positive mindset, and always with the goal in mind. And, I implore, and it's very, very important to ensure that that goal in mind is rooted in that, in the expansion and the growth and the helping of others. As long as that's where you're coming from in your heart with the things that you want in your life, then you will have those. You will have those rapidly. But you have to hold true to that. You can't let the negative creep in and take over, and because those things those are setbacks. And we're all humans, and it's not an easy thing to do, but the more you practice at it, the better you're going to get at it, and the better you get at it, the faster you're going to realize that this works, and you're going to start getting the things that you want. And I am living proof of that, and I will continue to work at this and share my stuff with you, so that hopefully something that I'm saying is going to trigger your journey, because that's what it's about. I want to help others. I want to help everybody understand this, because we don't have to just settle for things the way that I always thought that we did. I just thought you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, right? Like and that's not it. So again, thanks for listening, and I hope you got something good out of this.